Hello. I'll be all just caught off guard. But hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. And I have not reviewed The Walking Dead in I think 2 weeks. Because it has been very busy, busy on Sundays. But I am back for my Walking Dead review. And plus, I watch The Walking Dead every Sunday. But because it takes time to watch it, review it, record it, and not that many people watch my Walking Dead reviews, so that was one reason why I almost wasn't as consistent with them. So my apologies to everybody, but I am back for The Walking Dead. I cannot wait for the mid-season finale that comes on next week. But let's get started on this particular episode. I felt like this was a very much heavy Eugene episode. Eugene, I want him to go back to being with Rick and them. I just don't see it happening. It's just so, he's a whole different person. And we all know that Eugene's, I keep trying to fix my little nightshirt. We all know that Eugene is very much out for self, and he is all about self-protection, self-survival. As long as he's living, that's what matters. So that's what I thought this episode was a whole lot of, because we see the episode starts off with Rick still being held, by Jadis and her people, and she's taking pictures of him, and he's like, "What are these pictures for?" And she was like, "Oh, it's for after, so I can sculpt you." And he's like, "After what?" But they put him back in the whole little container thing, and he in his boxers. I'm like, why? They just, strip a man naked, and put him in his boxers. So from there, we see Eugene confronting Dwight, basically, because he knows that Dwight is the one behind helping Rick and them get into the Savior's camps and everything. So, he says, "I realized it was you because of the paint from your chest pieces that was on the bag of guns that they got. I put two and two together, and it's you, and I know it's you." He said, but if you stop being a traitor, if you stop helping them do anything further to hurt the Saviors, your secret is safe with me. I won't tell Negan, I won't tell anyone else, and we'll just leave it be what it is. Dwight is like, "Look, this place is falling apart. The Saviors are about to be finished. Negan is about to be finished. And, we're running out of food. We're running out of water. There are walkers all outside. All you have to do is shut up and let it happen. You can just let it happen because this is kind of a horrible place." He says how, just let it play out. The things that go on here are horrible. Ask him if he's heard the horrible things that's been done, the screams. Because for the most part, even though Negan makes it seem as if he keeps everyone there in line and he prevents them from going crazy and doing this murdering people, at the same time, you're terrorizing other people. You had Daryl in a cage, locked in a room like he was a dog. You know what I'm saying? And I don't get how Eugene can't see that things should change. So, with Dwight saying, I'm like, the things that go on here are horrible, and, soon, soon you will become those things. Even if you haven't participated in committing any of those atrocities, eventually you will, and you become those things. Dwight, Eugene just says, he just wants to be safe. He just wants to be alive. He's just thinking about himself, basically, and says, "I'm Negan. I'm not perfect, but, it is what it is. We are saviors and we save people." But I'm like, but do you? Do you really? Some people, yeah, because for the most part, when they had, what's his name? The guy who came back from season 1. I can't think of what his name is right now, which is crazy. But when he came back, they saved me. I was, sitting somewhere waiting to die, and they came and saved me. You can say they saved people, yes, but you also terrorize and murder people. Okay? No, don't. I don't like it. So when Eugene says, we save people, he said, but I won't say anything about what you're doing as long as you don't bring any more harm to anyone within these walls. he then goes downstairs and they're putting another like metal slack on the door because there's so many walkers outside trying to get in. And he's like, well, how long do you think we have? And she was like, a day, maybe two. And he realizes, wow, it is getting really, really bad. Like, these walls are going to eventually cave in on us, and we, some of this has to be done. We then see how the doctor is in there with Father Gabriel. We found out he dying. I'm like, Father Gabriel, what's wrong, brother? The doctor says to Eugene, because Eugene also comes in, and he says, he has a lot of different infections, you know what I'm saying? And his organs are are being affected by these infections, and it's only a matter of time before one or all of his organs shut down. So he's basically dying. I'm looking like, well, damn it, okay? Father Gabriel, you know what I'm saying? He just done so much. So Eugene then says how it was kind of his own fault, and he's like, "What were you talking about?" He's like, "Well, it was his. He went through with his plan, and he helped them, put us in this predicament. So it's his own fault that he's here because he participated in what they wanted to do here. So it's all on him." And so the doctors just say, sit with him. I have to go, try to find some more medications to hopefully help him. So, we don't want him to die, right? He's like, well, no. He's like, well, sit your ass down, and just be with him. So, when he sits down, Eugene is kind of being weird and standoffish. He's like sitting there looking at him. He sees how Father Gabriel's like trying to reach for a glass of water, but he is so weak it's hard for him to even pick it up. But Eugene like kind of watching him reach for it. I'm like, you're not gonna just help him just in the beginning? So he does eventually get the water and like helps him. We only help him. He like, here, you know what I'm saying? He gets some water down his throat, and then Eugene just says to him how Father Gabriel asked him, how are they going to get Dr. Carter out of the sanctuary, because they need him to go to the hilltop for Maggie, basically. Just because they need a doctor. And he said, I can't, we're in basically a messed up position. There are walkers everywhere. I can't safely get anyone out of here, and it's all y'all fault because y'all brought all the walkers here. So I only do things that benefit me, and helping the doctor get to hilltop doesn't benefit me. I need his ass here. Okay, is what he basically says. So Father Gabriel just said something basically. I'm hoping you will eventually do the right thing. That's what I'm hoping you'll do. And tell us, you're a man of science. How can you not realize that before you would never have thought that the dead will be walking among us, but they are. So I'm hoping that eventually you'll realize what the right thing is and do the right thing, and when the time comes that you'll act on it. And Eugene looks like he's taking it in, and maybe he might be listening, and maybe he might do the right thing, which is stop being a damn Negan and get your ass back to Rick and them. But we have to wait out for that. So the next thing that we see is one of like Negan's girlfriends or wives or whatever was asking Eugene to fix her radio, and he hasn't fixed it yet, of course. And he's like, because she's like, where's the radio? And she has a bottle of wine because it was like, fix my radio, I give you some wine. He's like, we're kind of in a bad predicament. Don't you realize that we're, basically trapped in here? And she was like, what? I've been trapped in here. Didn't you notice that? And he was like, wait, what? Not realizing to him, the sanctuary is like, oh, a safe haven. For others, it's a prison. You know what I'm saying? For others, it's not fun there. They are not having a good time. Whereas he's walking around eating pickles and chips and, doing whatever you want to do. Others don't have it as easy as he does. He then asks if he can, because she's leaving, like, I'll get another day to fix my radio. And he's like, well, can I have the wine anyway? And she's like, well, no, the deal was, a bottle before, and the bottle once it's finished, it's not finished. And he says, while I needed to sleep, I can't sleep, that's what I need it for. And she's like, you know what? I have trouble sleeping too. But then she reminds him, like, what's on my lip? That's my lips. So she reminds him that when he first got there, they asked him for his help to make the place better, and he didn't help them. He basically did what was better for himself and just fell right in place into being a Negan. And, she said, had you helped, this place could have been better, but you didn't. You thought about yourself. She then leaves the bottle and say, well, I hope it does. I hope it helps you sleep or get through the day. She's like, but it probably won't. But, it is what it is. And then, she leaves. the next thing that we see is Daryl, Michonne, Tara and Rita. I'm like, who was there? Yeah, Daryl, Michonne, Rita, and Tara are having a conversation. Morgan also walks up. They're basically having a discussion over this new plan that they have. Now, they had a whole plan, okay? A whole plan put together. And everyone had been doing their parts up until the point to where Michonne and Rita wanted to go see the sanctuary to see if the plan was going, if it was going according to plan so far. You had Daryl and Tara who kind of wanted to negate from the plan to do something differently because they are just kind of over it and they want things to end quickly. But you have a plan, okay? And you have to follow the plan. You know, they run upon Morgan, who was being like a sniper, and they're in the buildings across from the sanctuary, you know, basically going to shoot whoever comes out and things like that. So they're having this discussion like, okay, we can do this and, you know, this ended early, you know, not even have to worry about this whole plan, not have to draw it out. But you had a plan that's been working. Like, why try to rush it because you want to hurry up and end it because you just don't want to wait. You want to know that it's over. And, you know, they're having this discussion and Rita finally realizes that she doesn't want to rush it and she doesn't want to negate from the plan. And why is that? She's like, because I trust Rick and we need to trust Rick's plan. It's been working. I can't take part in this. And she kind of leaves. And before she leaves, she's talking to Michonne. And she says, you know, sometimes we don't have the, it's not, that we don't have the right, we don't have the right to know further than what we already know. We have to just wait it out. She's like, it's just sad that for me to realize that I had to see Sasha walking out of that casket. Meaning Sasha tried to rush killing Negan herself. And when she did that, she ended up dying and becoming a walker. And it was because of her own will of wanting to hurry up and do something. And sometimes you can't hurry up and do stuff because when you do, you end up dead. And, you know, as she's saying that, Michonne, she walks off. Michonne's like, you know, I think her saying that in that way made Michonne realize what they were really doing. They're doing the exact same thing Sasha did. They were trying to make their own plan, not follow what they were supposed to do, and do something different, and hopefully be this, you know, to fix it all really fastly. And, you know, so she walks away, but Michonne, you know, Morgan, they all go through this whole plan that they have, that they're gonna do. So we then see a conversation between Negan and, well, it was a conversation between Negan and Eugene. It was kind of a pointless conversation, so to speak, you know, because Negan was just saying how he's going to live regardless because he's amazing, basically, and he outlives whatever, and he's too much of a badass to die. But he says he doesn't want others to die. Like, you know, I don't want to see everyone in here, you know, ate by other people, and then they just live on to eat people too. You know, I don't want to see that happen to other people or to you. It won't happen to me. Because I'm Negan, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Eugene's like, you know, I don't want that to happen either. And he says to Eugene, you know, I'm smart and I want you to know that I know you're smart. And it's almost like Negan knows he has to play to Eugene's weaknesses. He either plays to Eugene's weaknesses or his fears to keep him in line to do exactly what he wants him to do. And for the most part, because he knows that Eugene just wants to be a part of something that can keep him safe. He knows, he kind of feels like Eugene won't do anything to put himself in harm's way. So he's like, Eugene ain't gonna do nothing unless I tell him to, and he's gonna always listen to what I'm saying to him. Eugene says he understands that you know, Negan knows he's smart, and, you know, he goes for a handshake, but he holds his hand out weirdly like this. So Negan, Eugene goes to kiss his hand like, no, it's going for a handshake. But you don't handshake like this. You know what I'm saying? You handshake like this. But, you know, it was what it was. But he does tell him, you know, like a handshake is a sign of mutual respect. And not many people get that from me. And at that point, I think, at that point, I think he was trying to test to see if Eugene had any information. But all Eugene says is, there's some work that has to be done. So, you know, I need to get back to it. And, you know, he gets back to his work. So, Michonne and Daryl are in the garbage truck, you know, almost at the sanctuary. And Michonne submits to him like, you know what we're trying to do isn't right. We do need to wait. She basically heeds Rita's advice, saying this isn't a smart thing to do, we shouldn't do this. So she does say, like, I just wanted to see the sanctuary, and now that I've seen it, I need to trust in our plan, and I can't go through this. I don't feel like it's worth risking what we have. And he's like, well, for me it is. I'm willing to risk it because I want to just get this over with, but I respect the fact that you can't. So she gets out the truck or whatever. So now it's just Daryl, Tara, and Morgan, and of course the other snipers who are across the street from the sanctuary, in on this particular plan. So we then see, it was a weird thing, not a weird thing, but we see how Eugene is in his room. He's fixing the stereo. Then he goes down to the basement. I'm thinking he went out to get a piece for the radio that he was trying to fix for the girl. But when he gets down the basement, he sees the coffin that Sasha was in. So of course he's having flashbacks of her, walking out of it being dead, and he's kind of freaking out. It's a bad memory for him, because basically he helped her die because he gave her the poison. And when she asked for other ways of help, he didn't do that. He basically gave her a way out, which was killing herself. And when he opened the casket, of course it was empty. We know she wasn't in there, but he gets the iPod player that was in there. So then we see him on the roof, and he's like made like a weird kite glider thing with the iPod on there to play music. So as he's about to like shoot this glider out, we see Eugene come up. Not Eugene, darn it. We see Dwight come up like, don't move. And Eugene's like, oh shit. So, wait. Yeah, so like that. So, yeah, I'm going to do part by part. So when that's happening, darn it. Dwight is saying, don't do this. I'll shoot you and I'll shoot you and kill you. You can't do this. And Eugene is saying how he is just trying to shoot it off because it'll lead the walkers away and they'll all be safe. I'm trying to save all the people here. If I do this, it'll help. He's like, I'm willing to take my chance with either you shooting me, or me seeing this, you shooting me and everyone dies, or me seeing this lighter off and we can possibly live. So at the same time that's happening, we see Daryl and them, and they're in the work truck and they're shooting a little bit. I'm like, why are they shooting? It's a whole distraction. And it's there as Tyra's shooting, like Morgan and them is shooting a little bit, but Daryl is just about to ram the garbage truck into the front door. Why did I do that? Because if you breach the doors of the sanctuary, all the walkers who are outside can get in and can eat the people, and they assume they'll all be dead. So that was their whole little plan, was just to breach the wall, to let the walkers in. Like, let's not wait for them to surrender. Let's not wait for the walkers to break down the doors. Let's just send them in ourselves, knock the doors down, and then they're in there. So Eugene does send the glider off because he feels like Dwight isn't going to shoot me. I don't think it's going to shoot me, so I'm going to push this button. So he does send the glider off, and it does start playing music, and it's like flying above the walkers and everything, but then Dwight shoots it down. So he's like, okay, it doesn't take the walkers away. But the truck crashes in, it opens up the door to everything, and all the walkers are coming in. And you see people shooting, screaming, running. It was a whole madhouse. You see how Eugene sees all the walkers in here, and he looks horrified. He honestly looks terrified a little bit. But he goes from that to looking mad. And I'm looking like, what are you mad for? Now you angry? He then goes to Father Gabriel, and he says, I will not join you all. I will not, I am still Negan, and I will not get the doctor out of here because I'm going to leave him here because I might need him one day, and I'm not going to do this, So he's basically saying, no matter what y'all plan is, I'm not going to help y'all. I'm going to continue to be Negan. And again, he's really Team Negan, and so it's really disappointing. I'm really, pissed off at him. I don't want Eugene to die. But if he did, and he died as a savior, I wouldn't be upset. If he died, trying to help Rick and them, that would be kind of sad. But not really, because he's done so much. He could have helped a long time ago, and he hasn't. But, he just doesn't help at this particular point, and it sucks. We then see him going to talk to Negan, seeing how he has a plan. Now, we don't hear what the plan is. He just, we hear Negan say, that's going to take a lot of bullets. And he's like, if you give me my bullet-making machine, you know, I can make us a lot of bullets and we can do what we need to do. So we don't know if they're going to shoot their way out or what they're trying to do, but he's getting a plan together for them to basically get out of there. And, you know, Negan says, like, you know, when I get out of here, I'm going to rain down holy hell on Rick for bringing this to our door. And he's like, yep, I know, it's fine, you know, I get it. He then says, I have something else to tell you. I'm like, and you gonna switch on Dwight? Switch. And you gonna snitch on Dwight? So as he says that, you hear knock, knock on the door. It's Dwight and the other lieutenants coming in, saying, you know, the walkers took over the bottom layer, you know, we have up here, but, you know, it's getting deep down there. And, you know, he's like, well, you know, Eugene has a reason to help us get, you know, to do this. And he also was going to tell me something extra. So Dwight looking like, oh, shit, he going to really snitch on me. But Dwight doesn't. He says, well, I think I can fix the intercom. You know, so that's his whole thing. But he didn't snitch on Dwight, which is a good thing. You know, he held his loyalty to Dwight for that much of it. But Eugene is, of course, Dwight looks relieved, basically. And from there, we see Eugene is back in his room, and he's sitting there. He's, you know, going crazy. He's hearing a lot of gunfire. We see a couple of tears fall from his face. He's kind of panicking a little bit. And we see him take, you know, a sip, well, a couple sips. He took a whole gulp of the wine, but he also throws it up. So I'm like, are you a drinker? Are you not a drinker? Is it poison? Is it not poison? Like, what's going on here? But he's basically trying to calm his nerves based on everything that's going on and everything. So now we see Rick, who was being held by Judas still, is still in his boxers, and they have him like on his knees, and she's like, okay, now it's time for after or before, something like that. And we see them open up a one of the crate things, and they got a walker on a stick. I'm like, it's a walker on a stick. Okay, you know, in his face, like his eyes are covered, but he's trying, his mouth is open so he can eat people. And they're leading him to try to basically eat Rick. I'm like, really? You gonna just feed Rick to the walker? Okay, you know, it is what it is. But Rick is Rick, and Rick fights back. You know, he basically, you know, beats up a couple of people by, you know, like headbutting someone, you know, knocking them out the way, and then using the stick that they had the walker walking with as a weapon. And using the walker too, you know what I'm saying? It was very good, you know what I'm saying? He also overtakes Jadis. Is it Judas or Jadis? I can't think right now. It's 3:30 in the morning. But basically, he, you know, wrestles her to the ground, and he's, you know, because he pulls the head. He uses the stick, and as he's leading the walker around, he's loosening up the head, you know, because they're holding their cane. He's loosening the head, and then he just basically pulls the head off the body. So the body falls down, the head is still alive because it's a walker, and he's like, nah, 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 nah. And he's trying to gnaw at people, and it was funny to me because when he had Judas on the ground, and Judas' head was right next to the walker head, it was funny to me. And he was like, you know, I'm going to walk out of here. And why am I using his British voice? You know, I'm going to walk out of here, and, you know, my team, we're going to come back, and we're going to, you know, we're going to kill you all, basically what he said. Yeah, we're going to get revenge. And, you know, he's like, so I'm going to walk out of here. You know, do you surrender? And then she does, of course. You know, she calls off everyone else who had their guns on him. Then she agrees to partner with him. I'm like, Rick, you shouldn't trust them. They already burned you once. Like, leave it be. And, you know, he's like, you know, the walkers are surrounding the sanctuary. You know, they're going to have to give up. You need to just join us. He then says you can keep 1/4 of, you know, the things that you have, that you find or whatever. And she's like, no, half. He was like, no, 1/4. And she's like, 1/4, but I scoped you. I'm like, she's like, and I scoped you without your boxers on, naked. I'm like, is she nerdy? She's a little dirty, little something. She wants, you know, she wants to do some things. And he was like, 1/4, no scope, and give my clothes back and give my boots. So, you know, from there we see Rick and the Judas and our gang are on their way to the sanctuary, and when they get there, you see walkers eating like somebody hanging from the lookout post. And, you know, he kills a couple walkers, and he's trying to radio for, you know, someone on the team or whatever to get an idea what's going on, but no one's responding on the little walkie-talkie. So he climbs up the watchtower. He goes all the way to the top. He uses his scope to look, and he looks at the sanctuary, and there are no walkers. And you see that there's a big gaping hole, and there's a truck there. Because, of course, this is something that Daryl and them did while Rick was gone. Because what did they do? They wasn't listening, and they did not follow the plan. So Rick, of course, is like, what the hell is going on? And then the episode goes off. So it was a really good episode. It's going to be an hour-and-a-half finale for next week. I will be reviewing that, absolutely. I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I am Jay Lee. This is Jaylee's Corner. Peace.